At a younger age, when you are wild and free, you can do anything. And I mean anything that comes through your mind, especially when you are extremely daring. But as life progresses, the phrase life happens is what we always say when we meet people. Oh, what happened? Life happened. So how do you actually cope with the life happenings or the happenings of life? Welcome to Intentional Living with Sarah, where I talk about life and share tips on how to do life better. And in case you're new here, like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification for more uplifting content. So as life progresses, we go through, or some people go through, a crisis. It could be a midlife crisis, it could be an adolescent crisis. It's just a crisis, something that you cannot handle, and some of these things are as a result of the actions that we implemented much earlier. We are actually facing the consequences of our actions, and it's something that it's really hard for some people to deal with, and it manifests in different ways. So we do so many things, I mean very weird things, and actually when I say weird, to the person doing them it looks like it's really normal. Those things that we do in order to cope with the stresses of life, the consequences of life, I mean any form of crisis. And some of these things take a toll in our relationships. They take a very bad toll in our workspaces, in our productivity in general, as adults, so as young adults, at whatever stage that you are. Just know that it affects you negatively. And one of the ways that it really manifests is when you have the urge to relive certain things. You want to go back to certain stages in your life, and you want to start acting like you were at that stage. You've seen people drinking too much. I know that in high school or at the university, so many people really drink and they party so hard. But when you grow up and you are an adult, I know that, I mean, the university, you are sort of an adult, but when you probably have you're done with school and you have a job and you have family, things like partying hard and drinking so much are a bit weird. And it's not bad. Some people are thinking, okay, is it really bad for me to party? It's not bad for you to party, and you may say it's not bad to drink, but when you do it so much, you go to the bar and you get out at 6 a.m. You're running away from something, or you party, you have the energy of a teenager. It's really weird. That energy should be channeled somewhere, like spending time with your wife or your husband, or spending time with your children, or researching on something and working on a new project. That's where that energy is supposed to be going, not just partying and drinking. That is a red flag that you are going through a certain crisis and you actually have to deal with it. Some other weird action is having multiple sexual partners. Yes, you are settled and you have an amazing wife, but you are having an affair with the nanny, or you are hanging out with different younger girls and actually getting extremely intimate with them, which is not supposed to be the case. Now, such a person is trying to prove a point and search for significance, and that's why they go ahead and do that. To some other people, you find that the person is a bit responsible, they are highly knowledgeable. I mean, they're supposed to be hanging out with a certain class of people, but you find this person hanging out with a certain type of people who, I mean, you look at the people and they're not working. All they think about is very useless stuff, and you wonder, every time you see them, it's like you're seeing an eagle hanging around chicken. Yes, so this kind of person is really running away from something. They are going through a certain crisis and they need to deal with it. So by now you have realized that these things don't work. The drinking doesn't work, the multiple sexual partners does not really work, and the overdoing of certain weird things, that's not really work. It only gives you a temporal solution. And today I am sharing some of the things that you can actually do to go through this, to cope with life, to actually control the happenings of life, to let your life take a better twist. Let things work out for your good. And one of these things is accepting the wrong choices that you made. Accept the fact that you messed up when you maybe 20 or 30 or 15. Just do not live in self-denial, and every time the topic comes up, you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to confront these fears. You don't want to allow that you're the one who did that. Yes, you may be wiser and much more educated and much more experienced right now, but living in self-denial is something that affects you. You keep on carrying on that baggage. So you have to allow that, yes, I made a wrong decision. Yes, that was a wrong choice. Yes, that was a wrong investment. Yes, this and that was wrong. Accept that you made that mistake. It's a mistake, and do not let that go on with you. Yes, you did that, but right now, what can I do about it? Many times things happen to us. Yes, something has happened. It's really bad, but right now, what can I do about it? After accepting that, yes, you made a mistake, begin to think, what do I do about it? One of the things you can actually do is get a mentor, get an accountability partner, get someone you can talk to about it. People move around and you do not know what they have gone through. You don't know what they have overcome. Everything that happens to us has actually happened to someone else, and it could have happened to them in a much bigger way. Maybe you think you have experienced a bit of loss, but someone else out there dealt with a mega loss and actually overcame it. Or maybe you think that you're the first person to have gotten a child when you were extremely young. There's someone who has probably gone through that and overcame it. So it's good and it's easier for you to work with an experienced person, to work with someone who is much more knowledgeable in a certain area. They may not have the experience in that particular thing that you are going through, but they have dealt with people with similar experiences, or they have actually they're just wiser. They know things they know how to approach things in a much better way. And working with this person is going to make things easier for you. Every time you want to escape from confronting your fears, they will help you confront them. They will confront those fears alongside you. They'll share tips and different things you can do to actually get out of this. Look at a child who is learning how to walk, or a parent working with their child, a 3-year-old child and an adult. The kids don't know how to use the road. They don't know how to cross well. They don't know that a car is supposed to be here and you're supposed to walk on this other side. But because the father or mother is holding their hand, they are guiding them through that area that they do not know. And later on, they will let go and they'll be able to walk on their own. So that is what happens when you have a mentor. That is what happens when you have a guide, someone who is experienced, someone who can walk with you. And here on Intentional Living, if you need clarity, if you need someone to work with you, if you need to vent, if you want to express certain things that you don't want the people around you to know, you can always book a session with me and we figure out how to do life together and help you get to a better place. Another thing that you can do is get involved in productive groups. There's so many developmental groups out there. When you do life alone, sort of the negative things rain down on you and they knock you so hard that you think that life is extremely hard and you can't get out of certain things. But if you are among people who have gone through these things, or people who have dealt with other things, or who are much more experienced, they will give you a broader perspective towards life, and you'll be able to deal with whatever you are going through just by talking to them. Sometimes you don't even have to tell them exactly what you're going through. But just hanging out with them and having a small chit chats with them will drop a bit of knowledge into your mind, and you're thinking, okay, I can actually deal with this. You're relating with whatever you're going through. In some spaces there are Rotary clubs, and those Rotary groups usually host a knowledgeable person to speak at the event, and they talk about different topics. You could learn something, one or two things from there. Churches have different associations, youth groups, adult groups. I mean, there are different clubs in churches. I mean, they have actually very good programs that can make you much more developmental and actually develop your mind and everything that concerns you. Among your friends, you can form a group. You know a few people who have made it in life, who have achieved one or two things, and you feel like you should hang out with them. Come up with a cause. Maybe we are going to develop this area, and you hang out together. As you plan on that, you're learning something from them. There's always a space. There's always a women's support group. There's always a mother support group. There's always a support group out there. Support groups are not necessarily for people who are addicted to stuff and they're trying to get out of alcoholism or drug abuse or something like that. It could be just a support group on life, or you're all mothers and you're trying to get through motherhood together. One could be better at something and also better at something, but when you come together, you actually help each other. Your strength is their weakness and your weakness is their strength. I mean, you do things better. Once you purpose to look for such groups, you will find them, because there are so many people are doing so many beautiful things that you need to be a part of, and they can actually help you get out of whatever crisis that you're going through. And lastly, it's really important to be grateful. Yes, on the other side of life, there are those things that are screaming, you're a failure, you've done this, lots of condemnation. But on this other side, the things that you are winning at. You have a job, you have a child, you have a paycheck, you have a business that is running. Regardless of all those things that you have done in your past, I mean, you're living a new life. Be grateful for the things that you are doing. Be grateful for the space that you're in. Maybe you were at your parents' house and now you're independent, or you can save a little. You may not be able to save that much, but you're saving something. I mean, be grateful for the things that you have done, you have achieved. There's something that you have achieved. Maybe you're much more stylish, or you have added one more word in your English vocabulary. Just find something to celebrate. Being grateful lightens up your world. It lightens up your heart. It sort of takes off a bit of baggage from you. And I believe that you should take time and write down the things that you should be thankful for, the good things that have happened to you in life, and celebrate them. Make a big deal out of them. They will make more noise in your mind than the negative things. Well, that's what I had for you today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification for more uplifting content. Be blessed.